Yeah, the ability to make a commitment and keep it, consistently keep a commitment, is an important ability. And it's not an ability that a lot of people have, or that certainly even that a lot of teams have. And one of the reasons that it's difficult is it's often unclear whether we're talking about a commitment or a prediction or an estimate. It can be unclear both on the sending and the receiving end. Let's say that you're traveling in my city and you're unfamiliar with traffic patterns and all that, and you come to me and you say, "So Jeff, how long does it take to get to the airport from here?" And I say, "Well, it's about 40 minutes, give or take." I said, "Give or take." Give or take what? Well, it depends on traffic, time of day, whether that construction is done or not, depends on which route you take. That's a prediction, right? Now if you say, well, Jeff, I've got to make my flight. If I miss my flight out tonight, I miss my daughter's high school graduation. So how much time should I leave myself to get to the airport? That's more of a question designed to elicit a commitment type answer. So I say, well, 9 times out of 10, you really can make it in under an hour. I have had it take as long as an hour and 15 minutes. To be safe, you should leave yourself an hour and 30 minutes. That's a commitment type answer. So the first is, of course, to clarify which is being asked for. Are you my teammate just asking me, "Hey, how long, Jeff, do you think this is going to take? Because I want to sequence some stuff after you." Or are you the senior vice president of client relations and you want to turn around and take my answer and promise it to a client? Second is whenever possible to base your estimates on past data. Have you done something like this before, and how long did it take the first time, the second time, the third time? Third is to, whenever possible, if you are talking about a prediction, to express a range. Instead of saying, "Well, I think that's about 3 hours worth of work." Say, "Well, it could be as little as 1 hour. It could be as many as 6 hours." Then you're clear that you're not making a commitment. You're making a prediction. And then finally, to turn those predictions into commitments, you can use the idea of probability. You can use aggregation. So now instead of just talking about one developer with one task, let's talk about a bunch of developers and a bunch of tasks where the law of averages is going to start to kick in a little bit. So the question on the table is, how many user stories can this team complete in the upcoming iteration? And let's say that we have data for this team for the past 10 iterations. We know how many stories they completed in each of the last 10 iterations. In one of those iterations, they only got 4 stories done. In another one, they got 10 stories done. And then there's a range in between those two numbers. What number should we commit to? Well, we could draw a little distribution of all these numbers, and we could look at the median and say, well, half the time this team did at least 7 stories. So is that the right number to commit to? Well, no, because the data says the probability is that we'll only hit that number half the time, which is not good enough for a commitment, not good enough to build trust. Our data says that 9 times out of 10 we've done at least 5 stories in each iteration. So there's a 90% chance that we will do that again. That's a better number for a commitment. What I would suggest to this team is say we will commit to finishing 5 stories. Now it's likely that we'll get 7 or 8 stories done. That's what our data tells us. But our commitment to you, Mr. Customer or whoever, is we'll commit 5 stories. Simple example of distinguishing between a prediction and a commitment and using your data.